The sport is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Aztecs back tonight taking on Colorado State. 7:30 live from Viejas. Aztecs are currently 8.5-point favorites in that one, with the point total set at 138.5. Schaefer gets you going at 7:30, and Fletch and I got you going at pregame starting at 6:30. And Giannis Antetokounmpo per Shams Charania. The Bucks are listening to offers, aggressive offers, ahead of the February 5th trade deadline. Looks like Giannis will be playing for a new team here in a week or so, which has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Yeah, let's get it going on a Wednesday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer's going to take over then. A busy one here on 760. We got an Aztecs home game tonight. San Diego State taking on Colorado State at Viejas Arena. Tickets still available at goaztecs.com. Cannot wait for that. We have Coach Quintera jumping on the show today. That's going to be an exciting interview coming up at 1:30. Talk some Padres and talk about the fact that Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of our lifetime, is not in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm somebody who gets up in arms about the Hall of Fame. I don't really care that much about it, to be quite honest. But I will say, if Bill Belichick is not a Hall of Famer, I don't know that anybody in football is a Hall of Famer. Like, really, when you think about this, and I was doing this earlier today, expanding it out to beyond just football. When you talk about greatest head coaches of all time across any sport, across any league, there's only one or two names you could even have an argument that should be above Bill Belichick. And it would be Phil Jackson in the NBA, maybe Coach Saban in college football, maybe Coach K in college basketball, John Wooden potentially in college basketball. Like, those are the only names you could even hear an argument about. But I don't know that any of them are close outside of maybe Phil Jackson and John Wooden. That's about it for me. And so for today to be the day where, well, I guess yesterday to be the day where you find out that a couple of writers who are holed up in some snobby office somewhere didn't vote for Bill Belichick to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't really get it, to be quite honest. And like, if that's not a Hall of Famer, if that's not what every coach in the NFL, past, present, living, dead, were striving to do, which was exactly what Bill Belichick did, then I don't know what the Hall of Fame even exists for. They should feel ashamed of themselves waking up today on January 28th, because that's just embarrassing.
It's ridiculous. And whether
Sammy, I forgot to ask if you're ready to have a great show. Are you ready to have
I'm ready to have a great show? Yeah. Hopefully we get an Aztecs W tonight.
It's going to be a great show.
Bill Belichick. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, whatever you think about Bill Belichick, whether you like Bill Belichick, whether you don't like Bill Belichick, this is not a humanitarian award. This is not an award of whether you like someone or not. There is no argument that could be made for a man who won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, 2 as an offensive coordinator, has won countless division titles. I mean, if Bill Belichick isn't a Hall of Famer, then I guess Andy Reid's not a Hall of Famer. And I guess Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I mean, the jury's still out on Andy Reid.
John Harbaugh. I mean, this is just, it's unbelievable that, like, the guy that you can't even make an argument against it. It's also for all the people that go, oh, well, he sucked at North Carolina last year. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's not the Basketball Hall of Fame where it counts college and the NBA. This is just about the NFL. So again, whether you don't like that he dates a 24-year-old, whether you don't like that he went to college and he kind of flamed out there, whether you're going to hold it against him that Brady won a Super Bowl apart from him, and Mac Jones, who he drafted, didn't work out with him at the helm, and then Kyle Shanahan makes him look elite. It's crazy that we're even having this conversation, and I agree with a lot of the athletes who have said stuff. J.J. Watt, Patrick Mahomes, a bunch of guys have come out and said stuff. Robert Kraft and Tom Brady have just now came out and defended him. It's ironic that Robert Kraft is doing it, because I think Robert Kraft is the exact reason why he has not gotten in. How could, if the reason you're holding it against Belichick is what they said, Deflategate and Spygate, then how did Robert Kraft get in?
Kick rocks. Deflategate and Spygate. Some people say Spygate didn't even happen, but it probably did. Yeah, but it's football. Every coach has film of every other team. Every coach is trying to find the leg up on the competition. It's just crazy. If you want to roll through the numbers, we can. He won 6 Super Bowl titles with the Patriots in 24 seasons as the head coach. He has been to 8 Super Bowls, or won 8 Super Bowls, excuse me, as a coach, period. 2 of them as an assistant coach. Second most wins in NFL history behind Don Shula. He's at 333. Most postseason wins in NFL history at 31 as a head coach. 17 AFC East Division titles, 9 conference championships, AP Coach of the Year 3 times. The Patriots had a 19-year stretch while he was the head coach where they had a winning record in every single one of them. It's just kind of outrageous that the numbers show first ballot Hall of Famer. The way he coached, the way he's talked about says first ballot Hall of Famer, but because he had a couple of cheating scandals and I think pissed off some people in the media, quite frankly, that's enough to keep him out. Well, it's sort of stupid.
I mean, so it's going to get held against Brady then. If that's what's going to happen, if Belichick's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'm sure that then Tom Brady wouldn't be, or Robert Kraft, who was expected to get in this cycle, ironically. And we all remember the blow up. Apparently Belichick and Kraft hate each other. Brady and Belichick would never go to dinner. They couldn't stand each other. So all great dynasties come to an end. Like it just is what happens. And I was like thinking about this in the way in, like, think of all the dynasties in the NFL and NBA. So in the '90s, you had Jordan, the Bulls, Kobe, Shaq, and the Lakers, and then the Warriors with Curry. And then the NFL, you had the Chiefs most recently, and then you had the Patriots. Are the Patriots like the least liked dynasty? Because people don't like the Chiefs, but I think at the end of the day, people like Andy Reid. Like, Patrick Mahomes is not an unlikable guy. Steph Curry, you may hate what he's done to your team. Steph Curry is a likable guy and changed the way basketball has been. People love Michael Jordan. People loved Shaq and Kobe, I guess, right when it happened, with the whole beef that they had. Like, this dynasty is remembered differently, although it may have been the most dominant of any of them.
Because it was the evil empire.
It was the evil empire. And they weren't like, I don't think people don't like Robert Kraft. People don't like Bill Belichick. Brady, I guess, has changed that narrative recently in the media. I think he's got a lot more positive press, but like, would you agree with that? Would you say that the Patriots are maybe the least liked dynasty of any of those?
Absolutely. Everyone hates the Patriots. If you had a team that was not the New England Patriots during Belichick's entire stretch, you hated the Patriots. So that's fine. I hate him. He was still great. He's still the greatest head coach that's ever existed and has ever called a football game. And there's not much that can change anybody's mind. 484 with some very funny jokes about Andy Reid and why he's not a Hall of Famer. But we'll leave those on the text line because I don't think those are good enough for air.
Don't make fun of Big Red.
He's in the Hall of Fame of eating cheeseburgers. That's for sure.
He's in the Hall of Fame of kicking the Niners' ass in big games.
That too. But Bill Belichick, this is silly, man. I don't. The Hall of Fame, in my opinion, yesterday became soft, and I don't think anyone should take it seriously anymore. And we'll hear from some people throughout the show. In fact, do you have Rich's little soundbite? I pulled it off the morning show from this morning. Rich talked about this, and Rich's take on it was pretty funny. So take a listen. Rich Orenberger.
But Bill Belichick not being in the Hall of Fame as a first ballot is ridiculous. It is worthy of the most ridicule. This Hall of Fame is ridiculous. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do, which is welcome in legends of the game to be heralded for now and all time as the best to ever do it. Bill Belichick is the best to ever do it, not only as a football coach, but potentially the best coach to ever coach any sport ever. And he has to wait an additional year after he's eligible for the Hall of Fame. It's a travesty. It's the reason why I've always said Halls of Fame are stupid. Pro Bowl voting is stupid. All of these postseason accolades that you hand out to players is dumb. None of it matters. And we're all eventually going to be 6 feet under anyways. So what does any of it matter? Look, the point is Bill Belichick deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, maybe got a little dramatic at the end there, but his point holds. It's dumb. It's a piece of paper that you get. And ultimately, it's 50 people who live in dirty, dusty coat closets who write down on a piece of paper who they think should be enshrined in a Hall of Fame and who shouldn't.
Well, it takes away the credibility of the Hall of Fame is what it does.
Yeah, and he needed 40 out of 50 votes and he didn't get them. I don't know. I think Colin made the comparison to Mariano Rivera, who was the only ever for baseball 100% unanimous lock for the Hall of Fame. I would have thought that would have been Bill Belichick. Like, that's just something you would associate with Bill Belichick. He's the best coach ever.
Right. It's like you have to put personal bias aside. John Schaefer talked about this. John Schaefer has a Heisman vote. Diego Pavia was his number 2 behind Fernando Mendoza. I asked John yesterday when I was on with him, like, did you like Diego Pavia? Like personally, like when you heard him talk, or did you root for Diego Pavia? He's like, absolutely not. but there's hard to deny that he wasn't the second best player in college football last year. It's not about whether you like someone, whether you think that whatever you think about him, it's their strictly on-field accomplishments, and there's no way that he's not a Hall of Famer.
All right, let's do this. Text line, YouTube chat, Talkback Mike, all of them open right now. Talkback Mike, you go to the free iHeartRadio app, open it up, listen to San Diego Sports 760. There's a little red microphone icon at the top right-hand corner of the screen. Tap that. You can leave us a 30-second message. Text line 70470. Start your message with team. YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. Here's the question. If you were building your Mount Rushmore, but you had to rank them of coaches, period, not football, not just one sport, but coaches, period, where is Bill Belichick on that list? For me, he's either one or two. It's him and Phil Jackson, and they're 1 and 2 in some sort of order, and then John Wooden's probably 3. Like, that is my order. It's Phil Jackson maybe edges out Bill Belichick, because Phil Jackson did it in 2 separate places with 2 separate generations of basketball players, and he won how many championships? 11 NBA titles for Phil Jackson?
Well, because he won 3 with the he won 5 with the Lakers and he won 6 with the Bulls.
Yeah, I think it's 11. So 11 for Phil Jackson, 6 for Bill Belichick. And Phil Jackson was dominant in 2 different eras of basketball with 2 different sets of superstars. So Phil Jackson might take it, but that means Bill Belichick's my number 2. And if the number 2 coach, period, of all time, everywhere in the universe, any sport, any whatever, is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't know what is. Sammy, let's get to the big 3. I'm getting frustrated and sweaty, and you know I don't like that this early in the show. That's annoying to me. Go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
All right, Sammy, where would you like to start?
We're going right back to the Pro Football Hall of Fame
Let's
because
do it.
We just got breaking news. Eli Manning misses it once again. He will not be a Hall of Famer this year. We'll see again on the cycle next year. What is your reaction to Eli Manning getting snubbed?
I mean, it makes sense. Like, okay, so the Belichick thing is just downright atrocious. The Eli Manning thing, the guy won 2 Super Bowls. He had 2 of the hottest stretches we've ever seen in the game of football with 2 teams that probably didn't look like your stereotypical Super Bowl team that could just go on and win it. But take the rest of Eli Manning's career. When you talk about a Hall of Fame career, Belichick had consistency. He did it for 24-something seasons. Eli Manning had 2 really, really great runs. I'm not offended by this one, but I do think Eli Manning deserves a place in the Hall. But what is the Hall anymore? If Belichick's not there, I don't even care about it.
Well, I guess they're just devaluing the Patriots dynasty because
That's right.
we all watched the Patriots dynasty. So it was dominant. It kicked everyone's teams out of everything. And that's what made Eli Manning's 2 Super Bowl wins that much more impressive.
You think there's a KenPom-like Hall of Fame ranking where they knock things down based on your previous opponents?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why Eli Manning gets held in such high standard. I mean, that was, I believe, don't hold me to this, but one of the biggest spreads ever in a Super Bowl was that Patriot team that was undefeated against that Giants team that was a 6 seed that got all the way there. I mean, one of the great upsets of all time, especially in a Super Bowl. And they did it again. I mean, this guy's beat the Patriots dynasty twice. Kept Tom Brady from having 9 Super Bowls. If it wasn't for Eli Manning, Tom Brady would literally have 9 Super Bowls, and Nick Foles, he'd have 10. So this is crazy to me. I think Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer. I think all 3 of those quarterbacks from that draft, Eli, Phillip, and Roethlisberger, are all Hall of Famers. Roethlisberger and Eli obviously got the hardware with 2 each. Rivers, I give a little bit of a pass to because the critics are going to say he never won a Super Bowl, never appeared in a Super Bowl, but I think of Phillip Rivers, the Chargers were mismanaged so bad for so many years. And had he had a defense on some of those teams, I think he would have gone. Again, we're not doing this off what could have happened. But if Phillip Rivers would have got drafted for the Giants, I certainly would have seen him playing in some Super Bowls.
Kind of funny when you look at it. I was curious after you said the point spread thing. They're the 3rd biggest upset in Super Bowl history. It was a 12-point favorite or 12.5-point favorites or the Patriots in 2008. The biggest point spread differential for an upset was actually Super Bowl 3. Baltimore Colts were favored by 18 points against the New York Jets. The Jets won 16-7, resulting in the largest upset in Super Bowl history. And the other one was actually the Patriots against the Rams. The Rams were favored by 14 points in 2002, and the Patriots won that game 20-17.
Oh, wow.
So
that's interesting. A little betting trivia right there.
How about it?
Let's go. We're going to get back to this later, but Giannis, so the Bucks are listening to offers on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Looks like he will get moved ahead of the February 5th trade deadline. They're tanking to try to get a lottery pick. Fletch, where would you like to see Giannis end up?
Honestly, to make Sammy Long happy, I would like to see him on the Lakers, but I'm thinking not like you, not right now, but at the end of this season. That sounds like that's not going to happen anymore. I do think Luka and Giannis together would be a lot of fun to watch for the next 5 or 6 years. Outside of that, I like the idea of Houston. I just think it becomes a physical powerhouse. I like the idea of San Antonio. I don't love the idea of the Knicks, if I'm being completely honest, which it sounds like that's the most likely at this point, doesn't it?
It's always been rumored he wants to go to a big market. So, and New York has obviously fits that bill. All those teams, like the Lakers, are interesting. The problem with the Lakers is, although of course you would do the deal because you want Giannis, you have to give up Austin Reeves to do that. So then you're still kind of sitting here with Luka, Giannis, and LeBron. Now that might put you at the top of the Western Conference. That certainly would give Oklahoma City some problems. I don't think the Lakers are going to be able to get the deal done because I don't know if they have the assets right now. Because if Austin Reeves is not going to sign a 5-year contract with Milwaukee, he's a free agent at the end of the season. So that becomes less valuable. Now, if Reeves commits to Milwaukee, then I think that the Lakers would have a lot to work with. New York doesn't have a lot of picks because of the Mikal Bridges deal where they sent 4 out. New York would be interesting. I mean, Jalen Brunson, Giannis, they'd probably have to flip Karl Anthony Towns in that. The most logical place, which I think is going to end up happening, but the only way this doesn't happen is if he doesn't want to go play at a small market, is San Antonio. Because San Antonio has the most has the best collection of young guards in Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle. They can make the deal like that. I mean, they could snap their fingers and you give Castle back in Dylan Harper, and then you pair De'Aaron Fox, Giannis, and Wemby. That would be scary. I think they instantly would become the title favorites in the NBA if that happened. But certainly, apparently, like every team is in on Giannis, so we'll see where he goes.
How much is he going to go for?
Oh, it's going to be for everything because of the fact the Luka deal. The Mavs didn't get everything. Now, I guess some people could be like, "Oh, that's going to be a benchmark," but
everyone collectively agrees that was a terrible deal for the Dallas Mavericks.
Right. And they don't want to see if Luka gets moved for not a lot, Giannis gets moved for not a lot, 2 players in their prime at the top of the game. The NBA doesn't want that. And if you're the Bucks, you're like, well, we're having a bidding war. The problem is the Mavs didn't make a bidding war. They were only negotiating with the Lakers.
Right.
So they're going to open this up to a bidding war. They're going to go with the best offer.
All right, we got 1 second to squeeze one more in. What do you got?
Todd Monken hired as the Browns head coach, former offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. Do you like the hire?
Sure. I think that the Cleveland Browns did themselves a lot of disservices this coaching hire situation. You know, they were having coaches fill out like personality tests that were like hundreds of questions.
They had to write essays about why they wanted to be the Browns head coach.
Like, I don't really get it from the Cleveland Browns. Like, you're probably lucky to get a good head coach. And I do think they got a good one. Todd Monken, like, we'll see. He had a lot of success in college. At the NFL level, it's not like the Ravens were lighting the world on fire this past year with their offense, but they were dealing with a ton of injuries. I don't hate the move, but this is one of those wait and sees. Like if we were doing our baseball categories yesterday, this would be another walk for me because I just don't really know how this is going to work out. But if it works out great, good. Let's see 10 years of success in Cleveland.
It feels like a desperation. Like I don't love the hire. Todd Monken's he wasn't great in Baltimore.
Who else is out there?
Right, that's the thing. It's like the amount of openings. There was 9 openings to start everything. I believe 9 NFL coaching openings, the most in a long time. It feels like because of that, and then because you had these big fish and John Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel with the Chargers, but Stefanski, it feels like everyone was waiting. And then you look at the Browns just sitting there. It's perennially been a terrible franchise. They're the bottom of the list. So yeah, you're ending up with Todd Monken. I don't expect Todd Monken to be there that long. I think this is a stopgap head coach so they can try to get someone next year.
So 2 more left. Is that right? Cardinals and Raiders?
The Raiders is attractive. Outside of the division you're playing in, it's an attractive job. You're going to get Mendoza and Gentry and Bowers and Crosby, and you're in Las Vegas.
2 left, Arizona and Las Vegas. We'll see what happens with those 2 spots. I'm sure we'll get a name here pretty soon. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We do have some tickets to give away on the show today. We got a pair of tickets to San Diego State and Wyoming next Tuesday night, 8 o'clock tip time, Viejas Arena. It'll be coming off whatever happens this weekend at Utah State. That's going to be an incredible game on national TV for the Aztecs. We will give those tickets away coming up in this hour. Don't go anywhere. Coach Quintera at 1:30, but coming up next, let's get you ready for tonight at Viejas Arena. San Diego State, Colorado State, big one on the Mesa. That's next. San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer's going to take over then. We got Aztecs hoops tonight. You'll hear about that in just a little bit. Did want to do a little roll call here on YouTube. We got our buddy Jerry chiming in.
Big Jer.
Talking about it's definitely the cheating from Bill Belichick. People generally don't like cheaters, like those cheaters up north. I believe he's referring to the Dodgers in that situation. Jamar says hitting the game tonight for the first time this season. Can't wait. Go Aztecs. Go Aztecs indeed.
Yes, sir.
FedEx Stray says, I think it is somewhat everyone outside of Boston and Massachusetts. If you weren't a Pats fan, you ain't enjoyed the dynasty. That's a fact, man. Everyone hated the Patriots back in the day. And then on the text line, we got a bunch coming in early, a bunch of inappropriate ones from the 484 that we love, but aren't for air. 619 said Bill Belichick didn't get on the first ballot because he was a total ass to everyone who votes for the Hall of Fame. He's going to get in, but he's going to have to wait until next year. What's the big deal about first ballot anyway? And why should Bill get in before Brady?
Well, first ballot means something.
It does.
Like that if a first ballot Hall of Famer in any sport is you're a cut above, you're like you are in everyone's esteemed is in the Hall of Fame, but you're even like a cut above. So it's like the problem people have is that if Bill Belichick, who is the most accomplished NFL coach has ever been, or one of them, is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, then I guess no head coaches in the future should be first ballot Hall of Famers.
Right. Now, I will say this, and Belichick wasn't asked to the media, but everyone's kind of okay with that. Like, I liked how Bill Belichick treated the media. I thought it was funny. It got some great sound bites over the years.
That just shouldn't have any impact on whether he's voted in the Hall of Fame.
For sure. But media can be soft sometimes. And I think that's the situation we have going on right now. And it's crappy that can impact someone's legacy like this. But what I will say is we learned something about Bill Belichick later on in his coaching years. And it was when he was doing that NFL 100 show, if you remember that. The dude is a NFL history junkie. He's a nut. He loves the history of the game. He talks about coaches like Don Shula and Bill Walsh as if they're icons of his mind, which they are. And so Bill Belichick cares about the Hall of Fame. That's what we learned about Bill Belichick when he was doing that NFL 100 thing. And yeah, you could talk about the guy who said on to Cincinnati, it doesn't matter, or the guy that was brash with some of the reporters over his years. But this was something I guarantee you that genuinely hurts his feelings. And whether you care about that kind of stuff or not, it does suck that someone who clearly deserves by every metric possible to be a first-time ballot Hall of Famer to not get there. It's just so silly to me, man. And it does suck. 858 said, my Mount Coach Moore is Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson, Bill Belichick, and Coach K. That's a great
Popovich does have to be on there, and Coach K as well, especially Popovich.
You said Coach K and Pop don't have to be on there?
No, I said do need to be on there.
On the all-time.
Especially Popovich. I mean, Popovich, that's a great call. Like, Greg Popovich is one of the most dominant runs of all time.
He's incredible. That trio he had with Manu and
Tony P and Tim Duncan.
Yep.
Those are fun teams right there.
Manu Ginobili was like the most basic looking dude ever who could make some of the most outrageous finishes at the rim you've ever seen in your life.
He was like, had Curry not come right after him, like he was a better 3-point shooter. Everyone who watched Manu Ginobili, like he was that guy that every time they needed a clutch three, Manu Ginobili was hitting it.
He was amazing. 484, to be a cutthroat dynasty, you have to excel at your job, but be a desirable human in other aspects of your life. Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, etc. are prime examples of this.
Well, my thing is like, so if you're,
there was a day spa incident at one point.
Well, that's okay. So that's what I was about to get to. So if you're going to hold Deflategate and Spygate against him, well, Robert Kraft was there for that. There's some certain, to what Fletch just said, some extracurricular activities Robert Kraft got into that may not be.
You remember when they were threatening to release the video? Like they had surveillance footage.
Can you imagine that? Oh my God.
I don't think I'd want to see it either.
I don't want to see
it. But
that
out of curiosity, like, I don't know. 760 said, talked about Eli Manning. We'll get to that in a little bit. We were supposed to talk some Aztecs here, so I'll read this text and we'll get to the Aztecs on the other side. Last night, I witnessed the most delicious form of basketball justice ever with Grand Canyon absolutely gagging at Nevada. The kid who allegedly got fouled at the end of the San Diego State GCU game last week was called for fouling a three-point shooter just before time expired with his team up 3. The game went to overtime. Grand Canyon lost a game they had complete control of late in the second half. This is why the sports universe always finds a way to correct
I think we also need to take a look at Mountain West officiating.
Well, it's dog bleep Mountain West officiating, which isn't even Mountain West officiating anymore. It's like a mix of the Big Ten and the Pac-12 officials that are kind of left over after everybody switched conferences and everything. It's a random trio of people every night who are officiating Mountain West games, and they're pretty bad. But to the texter's point, you can look at it like, yeah, the sports universe evened itself out, but also that hurt San Diego State metrically with Grand Canyon losing that game. So it's a little bit of bittersweet there. Grand Canyon or San Diego State, I believe, is holding firm at 45 in KenPom. I haven't looked at their net rankings today. We'll have that later on tonight. But how about the game that's going on tonight at Viejas Arena? Let's get into it a little bit on the other side. Plus, you're going to hear some sound from some legends of the NFL talking about Bill Belichick. That's next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live, my iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Aztecs at home tonight on the Mesa at 7:30, taking on Colorado State. Aztecs currently 8.5-point favorites with the point total set at 138.5. Hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760 with Schaefer on the call at 7:30, and Fletch and I get you pregame starting at 6:30. And big news out of the NBA: center Steven Adams has just undergone season-ending surgery on his left ankle. Big blow to the Rockets front court team with championship aspirations. Whoever said opposites attract was definitely talking about the new Spicy menu at DQ. Spicy flamethrower chicken strips served with a dip of sweet DQ soft serve. Sounds wrong, but tastes so right. The new Spicy menu at DQ. Happy tastes good for a limited time at participating locations.
We got a spicy hour and a half left of this show. Let me tell you what.
It's about to get spicy up in here.
A little sweet, a little spicy. You never know what you're going to get on this show. Well, you do know that John Quintera is coming up in about an hour. The coach is going to talk some Padres. He's going to talk some Bill Belichick. We still have a pair of Aztecs tickets that are going to be given away this hour. I would say they're probably going to be given away. I don't know, Sammy. Would you say within the next 7 minutes? Is that possible?
It could be. It sounds like it'd be smart to listen if you want to maybe go to the Aztec game.
Maybe in the next 7 minutes. Aztecs, Wyoming next Tuesday night. Hey, are we switching up long shots today? Are you prepared to make a bit of a shift?
What, to go just money lines?
Money lines, spreads, whatever you want. Like 3 teams that are playing tonight on TV, and we go
we can
boom,
do that.
boom, boom.
We can do that.
Because everybody has the new apps now. It's 2026. Feels like we're in fair territory.
I'll put together a three-leg team parlay.
A 3-leg trade that we're gonna put in.
Did you see what happened, by the way, to the end of our tennis picks last night?
No, what happened?
We were like looking all right. So Musetti was actually up 2 sets on Djokovic, and then Musetti got hurt and retired in the 3rd set. Like, what are we doing here? You need to go over on games.
That's what I'm saying. Long shots is cursed. So why don't we switch it up a little bit?
We're going to switch it up.
We're going to switch it up.
I wouldn't say cursed, though. Just having a rough week gambling is not cursed.
So we're going to change it up. We're going to switch up the strategy. We're going to go to something new, see if that works. If it doesn't, we'll switch back. So it's going to be a fluid situation here for the next couple of weeks. But I have faith that we're going to hit a big one here tonight. All right, San Diego State, Colorado State tonight at Viejas Arena. Tip time is 7:30. Pregame gets going at 6:30. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. But here's the funny thing about Colorado State. So they dealt with a lot of injuries early in the season. They should have pretty much everybody back. Kyle Jorgensen is a big guy. He just had 24 points and 5 boards against Utah State. Rashawn Mbemba also missed a big part of the season. He just had 10 points and 5 boards against Utah State. So to put this in perspective for everybody, Colorado State has not been great. What was the point spread, Sammy?
8.5.
8.5 points. San Diego State's expected to win this game by quite a bit. But this is what Colorado State has done this year. Their very first game of Mountain West play was against Utah State. They lost that game by 42 points. Last week, Colorado State played against Utah State. They probably should have won that game. They ended up losing by 5. So Colorado State has been bipolar all season long. They have some huge wins. They beat Grand Canyon at Grand Canyon, which is not easy to do whatsoever. And then they've had some head scratching losses. It's kind of curious night in, night out, what Colorado State team you're going to get. And for San Diego State, you almost can't let that be the thing that beats you. You just got to go out planning on beating the best version of Colorado State, which at times has looked like one of the best teams in the Mountain West this year. And maybe you get surprised by them having a bad night. But it's a dangerous opponent to say the least. And this is one of those ones you get nervous about because you know what's coming up this Saturday. This Saturday is Utah State on the road, nationally televised game. A big deal coming on Saturday.
This is a vintage trap game.
This is a vintage trap game, is what all that was trying to say. Sammy, what do you got?
They play about 10 guys. So to everything Fletch just said, haven't been the healthiest at times this year. Kind of a walking landmine game for the Aztecs. You've had a bunch of big matchups. Obviously, Grand Canyon last week doesn't go your way. UNLV on the road over the weekend. And then Utah State this Saturday. It's easy to overlook Colorado State, but this team can come in here and get a win. They play 10 guys. They're very deep, like the Aztecs. They go pretty deep on the bench. And they do turn the ball over about 12 times a game. So that's something that the Aztecs can hopefully kind of take advantage of and hopefully increase that, especially at Viejas Arena, where we know it's going to be loud and rocking tonight. But biggest thing I'm looking for, Fletch, you mentioned this, they're getting some of their bigs back for Colorado State. I've been very impressed with the front court of the Aztecs. Tay Simmons, Miles Heide, and Farrell Compton, I think, have really picked up the slack. And I think if you would have told me or a lot of Aztec fans a month ago during the Players Era tournament that the Aztecs were going to be without Magoo, you'd be nervous because in the Players Era tournament, that's why they got dominated by Baylor and I'm blanking on it.
Michigan.
Excuse me,
Michigan last night. That was an incredible.
That was a great game. Watch that game
Nebraska.
Too. But Michigan and Baylor, they dominated the front court. And now those are two of the best front courts in the entire country as evidence. Michigan gets a win over Nebraska last night, who was undefeated, and they're the number 3 team in the country. But the back end for the Aztecs, the front court has really picked it up in his absence. And I think hiding these guys aren't getting enough credit because the Aztecs, in terms of guards play and wing play, can compete with just about anybody in the country. They're that deep. I mean, BJ Davis, one of the best guys off the bench the entire country, and he's averaging, in the teens per game. But the front court is going to be a big thing tonight. I want to see them pick up because I thought they were fantastic against UNLV. Can they take that into Colorado State? Because Colorado State is going to try and get the ball inside tonight.
It's a good time to have one of those. I'm not going to say easy because nothing's easy in the Mountain West, but one of those wins where you can just kind of coast to it and you feel like it's in control the entire time. Now, that's been hard pressed to find for the Aztecs this year. In fact, the Fresno State game may be the only one in conference where you felt the whole time like San Diego State was going to pull out the win. And even in that one, in the second half, things got a little sketchy before the Aztecs went on a late run. But for San Diego State tonight, you got to figure out a way to win this game by 9 or 10 points. Just to hold serve where you are right now. They've evened out a little bit. So there was a big disparity between KenPom and net. Right now it's evened out. I believe they're 47 in net, 45 in KenPom, which is a good spot to be when you're talking about at-large candidacy. You play if the season ends in today's situation, the Aztecs might be a fringe NCAA tournament team right now. You could still improve that. It will not be improved with a loss here tonight. That's one of those tanks that could hold you down the rest of the season, especially with it being a home game. And especially forecasting out the rest of the way, there's probably going to be a couple, maybe 1, maybe 2 road losses down the stretch. And so with Saturday's importance being there, Saturday's game becomes a lot less important if you lose tonight. So for San Diego State, get it done tonight, hit the road to Utah State, get a win there, and we're having a very different conversation come Monday. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Right now, we're going to open up the phone lines, 877-767-4760. You got an opportunity to win yourself a pair of tickets to the next San Diego State home game, which will be next Tuesday night at Viejas Arena, taking on the Wyoming Cowboys. If you would like to win a pair of those tickets, call us right now, 877-767-4760. Sammy, you got a number in mind?
So caller number 10.
Caller number 10, you're going to the game next Tuesday night at San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances today for you to win $1,000. That's happening every weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Just listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up at 1 o'clock. You'll hear the keyword, then you take that keyword over to sportssd.com, and just like that, you can be $1,000-aire. You can have $1,000 whole dollars right in your pocket. All right, let's go to the text line real quick. 760 boys. Eli Manning wasn't even the best quarterback in his division during the bulk of his career. He had 2 months of great football out of the 15 years he played, and he had a great defense that kept pass rush pressure on Tom Brady in both games for the Giants won against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Otherwise, he's just a guy. Tony Romo was more talented, and so was Donovan McNabb, not a Hall of Famer.
I disagree with that. I mean, you can make that argument. Like Tom Brady, in his first couple Super Bowls didn't even play that well. So are we? I mean,
Troy Aikman.
I mean, if we're gonna make that argument, then Brady probably should have won the one Super Bowl because of the Tuck rule. I mean, that the Raiders should have won that game. If you're gonna say D4 didn't jump off sides in the AFC Championship game for the Chiefs, I mean, but all these things happen. So I get where you're coming from, but Eli Manning did come up big in the biggest moments, and so I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. I would have Eli as a Hall of Famer.
913 says Bill Belichick will definitely get in next year. Why delay it? It makes the NFL look bad. I don't think it makes the NFL look bad. It definitely makes the Hall of Fame voters look bad. Pretty pitiful if you ask me. It just kind of shows you being soft is what it really looks like. It sounds like Uncle Bill was kind of mean to you, and so you denied him a spot in the Hall of Fame. YouTube, ST Tyler said Sammy should play Me Gusta Tu because of his shirt. LOL. You wearing your Los Pollos Hermanos shirt?
Los Pollos Hermanos.
Dude,
Gus
Breaking Bad gave us some of the best songs that none of us had ever heard of before in some random ass scenes.
Hell yeah, Tyler.
Breaking Bad gave us some good ones, man. What's that? Bangarang? Is that the EDM song that they played for no reason in Breaking Bad one time?
Oh yeah.
I think it is.
I need to rewatch
Jay
Breaking
Silv
Bad.
says Sammy mixing it up well today. DJ Sammy, Rich McGuire. I still like J.O. Jeremiah Odin, even though he isn't scoring like he was earlier in the season. J.O.'s played well, man, but it's kind of crazy. I looked at the plus minuses recently, and it's not fair because they're playing different minutes, but Tay Simmons has had the best plus minus on the Aztecs basketball team over the last 2 weeks. Like you would think it'd be Miles Bird, but it hasn't been. It's been Tay Simmons, who's been playing some of the best minutes for the Aztecs all year over just the last couple of weeks, really since Magoon went out. And not that this is a direct correlation, but J.O. is on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of plus minuses. He actually has the worst point differential on the team since Magoon's gone out. So you look at it the way you want it. I think J.O. is playing some good basketball. I think he impacts the game differently. Tay Simmons has made more highlight plays and is a little more flashy in this Aztecs.
Well, I don't think it's about Odin not playing well. I think it's, to your point, it's Tay Simmons. These guys have been excellent. But yeah, I agree with you. I like Odin's game. I think he's also very solid coming off the bench. He knows what he's doing. He's always in the right spots.
He's also a really good 3-point shooter somehow.
And the Aztecs can use some of that sometimes because the Aztecs, that's the one thing. They get very streaky from three. They have a lot of big time scorers. They don't have a lot of like just spot up, sit there in the corner and hit big threes. Odin can do that.
How do you think we handle this one from the 484, Sammy? Do you think we even do it?
Oh, let me see. 484 has been going on. Oh,
he's on fire today.
484 sends in some beautiful stuff to the text line. The problem with 484 is every time I'm about to read it, I don't know if I'm going to get fired after I read it.
It's really good, 484. It's about Deshaun Watson and stuff, and it's good. I just don't, man, if Sammy and I'd been on there for 25 years, maybe we do it, but maybe not in
if we had like tenure, like some teachers have tenure, you know what I mean? So they just say whatever they want in class.
Yeah, that's not a thing in radio. Radio, they'll fire you.
Yeah, tenure, they don't care. They'll cut your throat out.
Be like, oh, Ben Fletcher, bye. See ya. All right, speaking of which, Sammy, this is your last chance at long shots, bro. we're gonna do.
What are we talking about? I go one. First off, you have missed every pick that you have. Last week you chimed in on a pick.
Whoa.
Completely missed. Because we have one bad week of betting does not mean that we are out of gambling. Ebbs and flows. You should know this.
But we are changing it up. We're going to do game lines today.
We're going to do game lines and point totals.
I like it. So let's get to it. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
All right, Sammy, where are we going?
All right, this is an all NBA parlay because some of the big tennis matches are happening tomorrow. And for business reasons, I don't think we can gamble on the Aztecs. So we're gonna stay away from that one. All right.
It's not gambling, Sam. It's trading.
It's trading.
We're in California.
I don't want to get a call from someone high up in the Aztecs going, did you just really include the Aztecs in a parlay?
Mm-hmm.
When it's not a parlay, we're trading.
We're trading. It's like investing in stocks. That's literally what it says. I'm on a completely legal app in California. There's no reason we can't do this.
What app are you using?
Kalshi.
I got to lock in with Kalshi. His Prize Picks has left us.
I mean, I still really like Prize Picks. I still do. And I think promo code Fletch still works, but they're not currently paying us.
All right. Lakers, Cavs. We got 2 ESPN games tonight. We're going to go more than 235.5 points. We're going to stay away from the money line. The Lakers can score a lot of points. Their problem is not offense. The problem is defense. Lakers can play defense in spurts. We've seen this each of the last week. So the game against Denver, Lakers give up 71 points in the first half. Completely buckle down, only allow 35 points in the second half. In the first half against the Clippers, they give up 70-plus points. They shut down, come all the way back against the Clippers. Same thing happened against Dallas. They gave up 35 points in the third quarter against the Mavs, completely shut them down in the fourth quarter. The Bulls, similar situation the other night. The Lakers play defense in spurts. The problem is they don't play defense for a full 4 quarters, but the Lakers are going to be able to score. Rui Hachimura coming off the bench has been a big addition to the team. He had 23 points against the Bulls the other night, and Donovan Mitchell is an absolute beast for Cleveland. Sam Merrill, DeAndre Hunter. I know Mobley and Garland are out in this one, but I still think they're going over on this game. More than 235.5 points in Lakers Cavs tonight. All right, heading to Bulls Pacers. Okay, Bulls Pacers. Chicago, a 2.5-point road favorite. We're taking Chicago on the spread. Chicago, this is not the same Pacer team that was last year. It's a kind of a bummer. Not that I'm a Pacer fan at all, but the Pacers had this amazing run. Tyrese Halliburton, five clutch shots in the postseason last year, and they obviously go to the finals. Who knows what happens in Game 7 if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't get hurt? We'll never know. Oklahoma City raising the banner because of it. But this year, Halliburton out for the whole season. This is not the same team. They are not having a very good season. Chicago is quietly a very good basketball team. They don't have a number one star, so they don't get all the headlines. They don't have a bona fide superstar. Kobe White, excellent young player. Josh Giddey, Matas Buzelis, Ayo Dosunmu. This is a very talented, just up and down roster. I think they put it on the Pacers in Indiana tonight, coming off a game where they lost against the Lakers, but they played very well in that game. I think they'll be looking for some get back, getting it going there. And then on to my last pick, Spurs Rockets, 6:30, the night ESPN game.
I know you're cooking right now, but our music left us.
Our music left us. Our computer keeps doing that.
Bring it back. We need it.
Right here.
There we go. All right, what's your last one?
Spurs Rockets tonight. We're taking San Antonio on the spread. I recommend you get it right now. It was at +3.5 for San Antonio because they're in Houston tonight. It's gone down to +2.5. Grab San Antonio right now. People who watch these matches.
3.5.
You got it at 3.5?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, baby. That's called betting with an edge. Or sorry, trading with an edge.
Trading with an edge. We don't bet. We trade. Here's why. Steven Adams, I mentioned in my update about 20 minutes ago, he is out for the season with a left ankle injury. If you look back at some of the previous matchups earlier on this year, Wemby, this has kind of been Wemby's kryptonite. Houston, the way that they've been built, because they're such a tall lineup, they're the tallest average starting lineup in the entire National Basketball Association. A lot of that has to do with Steven Adams, Şengün. Steven Adams is not there anymore. I think Wemby has a big night tonight. I also think a lot of the guards are going to want to show out because they want to, amid all the Giannis news, go, I want to stay here in San Antonio. I think San Antonio gets a little revenge from a couple weeks ago where they had a tough night out against Houston. They get revenge in Houston tonight. Grab them on the point spread, +3.5, +2.5, whatever you can get. So to recap, we're going over on Lakers Cavs, more than 235.5. Not a lot of defense can be played in that one. I like Chicago on the spread, -2.5. I think they're going to blow out Indiana in Indiana tonight. And I think that the San Antonio Spurs are going to cover and likely win outright against Houston tonight.
Let's ride. I like it a lot. Well done, Sammy Long. I like this. We're changing things up.
We got different. Hey, if you're not changing, what did Aerosmith say? If you're not changing, start writing my will.
I thought they said dude looks like a lady.
They also said that. You know what that song's about?
Mm-hmm. Vince Neil.
Vince Neil. They went up to hit on him at a bar. They thought it was a girl. And they were like, oh, it's Vince Neil from Motley Crue.
You know, one time Rich thought Steven Tyler was a lady.
Oh yeah.
Steven Tyler was performing on the field at Gillette Stadium, and Rich heard this lady say, "Wow, watch out, man!" when he ran into him. And he thought Steven Tyler was a chick. Funny story.
Wait, he ran into Steven Tyler?
Yeah, on the field at Gillette Stadium.
That's crazy. Was he performing the halftime show?
He did something. Rich has a whole story about it.
We got to ask him about
probably
that.
half told it, but all right, here's the deal. Hour number 2 is coming up next. It's a busy one. Coach Quintero is going to be here in hour number 2. He's going to be talking some Padres, going to be talking some Belichick. Also in hour number 2, we have 2 giveaways. San Diego Seals tickets, which is coming up on January 30th. And then maybe my favorite country artist alive right now, Chris Stapleton, who is amazing in concert if you haven't seen him. We got
big ticket giveaway.
Chris Stapleton tickets for July 10th, the show, which is going to be at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. I saw him at Petco Park, man. He tore the place down. But if you want Chris Stapleton tickets, you're going to have to keep listening for the next hour of the show, which is next on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport's sponsored by Lowe's. Aztecs back in action on the Mesa tonight, taking on Colorado State, coming off that UNLV win in Vegas. Aztecs 8.5-point favorites with the point total set at 138.5. Hear that game right here at 7:30 on San Diego Sports 760 with Schaefer on the call. Fletch now get you going pregame starting at 6:30. And Todd Monken is the new head coach of the Cleveland Browns, the former Baltimore Ravens offensive coordinator. Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances, plus save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder, now just $189, valid through January 30th. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer is going to take over then. Now, if it's your first time listening to your show, hi, how are you? My name is Ben Fletcher.
What's
That's
up?
Sammy. We like to have great shows every single day, and we talk about it all the time, how great our shows are every single day. So if it's your first time listening, do us a favor, go over to the free iHeartRadio app, download it, open it up, listen to San Diego Sports 760, tap the little plus icon. You see, it helps us out a lot. That's our presets button. Put us number 1, and you can be right back here every single day for, in my opinion, the greatest sports show on the planet. And that is a fact, verified by me. Hour number
Ben
2
Fletcher
here.
guarantee.
Well, we have Chris Stapleton tickets today, which is probably the best giveaway going in the country.
C-State?
Dude, have you seen him live?
I have not. I heard it's a great show, though.
He's amazing. The fireworks that are going off the whole time, the flames that are being thrown all over the place. He's pretty incredible, man. So if you want a pair of tickets, just keep listening for a little bit. And Coach Quintero is going to be joining us at 1:30 as well. So we got plenty to get to. I did want to read this. Thought we had a little bit of an interesting quote here from Mr. Tom Brady. Some call him Tim Brody. He was the quarterback of the Patriots who played under Belichick, won 6 Super Bowls with Bill Belichick. Here's what he said on a Seattle radio interview. Sammy, we should be getting Tom Brady on the show. He said, "I don't understand it. I mean, I was with him every day. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer," which is completely ridiculous because people deserve it. Tom Brady said it, and that's the only take that makes sense today. When you think about the fact that Bill Belichick, who is without a doubt on 99.9% of people's Mount Rushmore of coaches, not just football coaches, in the history of sports, it does not make sense that the first time he was eligible for the Hall of Fame, they didn't just roll the red carpet out and make him unanimous. That's what I would have expected going into yesterday. And instead, we got, 39 of the 50 votes had Bill Belichick on it, and 11 of them didn't. It doesn't quite make sense when you think about the history of football and where Bill Belichick's place is in it. There was about a 25-year stretch where Bill Belichick was football.
Well, there's no argument you can make that he's not. Like, we were debating Eli Manning being a Hall of Famer earlier. There's 2 very distinct arguments to that. A lot of people think that he is, a lot of people think that he isn't, and you have valid reasoning for both. There's no way you can sit here and make an argument that Bill Belichick is not a Hall of Famer, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, it's crazy. He had the most dominant run of anyone in NFL history ever. I mean, him and the Chiefs, this is that would be like saying, again, so going forward, so I guess Andy Reid's not a Hall of Famer, because if Belichick has 6 Super Bowls and 2 as a coordinator, and Reid has 4 Super Bowls, and I think everyone would, or 3 Super Bowls, excuse me, would acknowledge that Andy Reid is a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I guess he's not in. So I guess every coach from here on out will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. This feels like the voters had a vendetta against Bill Belichick. They didn't like him from all the days where he kind of blew off reporters. That was his whole shtick, was he didn't like the media, didn't give the media anything. And all the negative press the last couple of years from, again, whatever you think about him dating a 24-year-old, him going to North Carolina, flaming out there, him not making Mac Jones look great, and Tom Brady going on to win a Super Bowl. That still has nothing to do with the fact that he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, NFL head coach of all time. This is an embarrassing day for the Pro Football Hall of Fame and all those voters. The names should be revealed. People have said that. The people that voted against this, if you're going to vote against this and make this kind of stand, you should not be anonymous. You should have to come out here and be like, I voted against Bill Belichick, and try to make your case. And I think you're going to be hard pressed to find someone that's going to be able to actually make that case.
I agree. It is unanimous, which I again think is soft. But what I think needs to happen is maybe everybody who voted for him to be in the Hall of Fame should just come forward, and then we know who the at least 11 losers are out there who did not. And again, it's not like I care about the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Really, it has no impact on what I'm doing on Sundays when I'm watching football. It has less than no impact. It's nothing. But if you're going to have one, at least do it right.
Do you think, though, I was thinking about this. So 50 voters, 11 people.
At least.
It was because, yeah, at least 11 people did not vote for Bill Belichick. Now, they're supposed to put down 3 names they think should have got in. Like, this had to be a calculated attack.
I know. Like, there's a couple scenarios, right? I think you could make the argument that maybe part of the 11, maybe, just play this out. Maybe part of the 11 thought, oh, well, for sure, Bill's going to get in.
Like everyone else would vote for him?
Yeah. And so maybe some other people deserve love on this list.
The bystander effect?
Right, the bystander effect. So maybe that happens, but if you have enough of those, then stuff like this happens. Maybe there's a couple people on the who vote for the Pro Football Hall of Fame who legitimately don't think he should be there. And if that's the flaw in the reasoning, but if you can back it up, whatever, I would hear your argument. And then there's people, I call them the SABs, the soft ass whatever, who literally just said he was mean to me at a press conference once.
Well, that's what, like, Schaefer made this point yesterday. I was listening. Like, so if you put the ballot in front of 50 random people who've covered the NFL and said, no bias, I want you to not who you like, who you dislike, who you want to be in, give me top 3 names this year. And there was no talking between them, no communication between each voter. I find it hard to believe that at least 11 people out of 50 did not put Belichick on there. That's what makes me think this was a calculated attack.
Maybe.
A, from the media, and it's also very, very convenient that Robert Kraft is likely supposed to get in. He's waited years, and it was supposed to be him and Belichick going in together. We know that those two despise each other. At the roast of Tom Brady, they didn't even talk. So, I mean, I'm not claiming anything. I would not be surprised if this is Robert Kraft flexing his powers a little bit, going, yeah, you weren't
Robert Kraft come out to today and defend it?
It's a little bit late.
Ultimate good guy move?
24 hours later?
Come on, ultimate good guy move, Sammy. Yeah, if something stinks like fish, it's probably a little fish. So that's might be what's going on here. All right, we're going to get to the big 3 here in just a second. Sammy, I had something I was going to ask you. And now, Jimmy Johnson. Do we have Jimmy Johnson sound?
We do have Jimmy Johnson sound.
How about the legendary head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami Dolphins, Jimmy Johnson, talking about Bill Belichick being snubbed from the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Why did it make you so upset that they left Bill Belichick off the first ballot Hall of Fame?
Well, first of all, I think this tarnishes everything in the Hall of Fame. All of the inductees, everybody in the Hall of Fame, just because of 10 or 11 or 12 ignorant judges who did not vote for him. I think it tarnishes everything about the Hall of Fame. As far as if they're using the excuse of the Spygate, before they had the electronic communication between the sideline and the players, everybody was trying to steal signals. A lot of people would not admit to it, but every team had an individual trying to get the signals or doing one thing or another. And then one of the scouts for the Kansas City Chiefs talked to us. They said, hey, we've got the system. Howard Mudd is the best at doing it. They had a camera and they would film the opponent's signal caller and match it up with the film. And then they would get their signals. And we noticed, we watched the Kansas City huddle. The offensive guard would look to the sideline and Howard would go ahead and give him a signal, whether or not it was, man coverage or zone coverage, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Howard Mudd left Kansas City. He left and actually went and worked for Bill Polian and Tony Dungy. Now, I'm not accusing them of doing it, but there were a lot of teams doing it back then before they put the electronic communication from sideline to the quarterback and the linebackers. And so if they're using that excuse to not put Bill Belichick in the Hall of Fame, it is absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, I appreciate
everybody's cheating, Sammy. Everybody's cheating. We all know this in football. In the Spygate, what was the other one? It's Spygate and Deflategate.
Well, and Deflategate's dumb. So they beat the Colts by 30 plus points.
Yeah.
Do you think because the balls were a little bit deflated that Andrew Luck would have been the Super Bowl? Come on.
Deflated balls. That's what it was all about. 858 says Rob Parker from The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. Rob, Rob Parker from The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio was very outspoken that he loves that Bill Belichick was left off. He says he cheated and shouldn't get in. Maybe it's a writer ego trip. Still ridiculous.
Well, then why? Thank you, Tyson, for the text. Then why wasn't, if that's the case, why wasn't he banned from the league when it happened? Why wasn't Brady ousted from the league?
Man, Sammy, I think you were there for some reason when we were doing the Super Bowl broadcast in LA.
I was there.
Oh yeah, you were. So we were set up probably half a football field away.
I know where you're going with this.
From Rob Parker and Chris Broussard.
They had the big stage too.
Yeah, when they were doing The Odd Couple. And I swear to God, for some reason they were there early in the morning. They were recording stuff for their show. They were doing their show at like 6 a.m. And the entire time, all I heard was, Rob, are you kidding me right now? Like Chris Broussard is the loudest human being on the planet. That's all. Like Steve Hartman was sitting next to me, and Chris Broussard was the loudest person in the room, and it wasn't even close. That
Can you imagine if Steve joined that show?
Oh my, it would be intolerable, Sammy.
And Mad Dog Russo?
Intolerable, Sammy. We couldn't handle it. Let's get to the big three here of hour number 2. It's probably going to be like the big 3 in 2 seconds. So go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
If you can out loud Steve Hartman, you're a special human being. And that's exactly what Chris
Or
Broussard
you need to
is.
get your ears checked.
Yeah, that too. All right, where are we going, Sammy?
During a radio appearance on 97.5, The Fanatic in Philadelphia, Adam Schefter teased the potential for the Eagles to surprise the NFL. When host Andrew Salchinas, whatever his name is, suggested that Philadelphia's decision on an offensive coordinator could be imminent, Schefter cryptically responded, quote, maybe it'll be even more than that by next week. What could this mean? A.J. Brown potentially on his way out of Philly.
Wait, this has to do with the offensive coordinator?
He was asked about why they can't fill the offensive coordinator spot, and he teased it that maybe A.J. Brown is on his way out of Philly.
So he's saying the offensive coordinator wants to know who's on his offense before he takes the job.
I think so.
Okay, that makes sense. A.J. Brown probably should have left the Eagles at the trade deadline this last year. I think if Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni and everyone else involved with the Eagles was honest with you, they would say, looking back, we should have traded A.J. Brown at the trade deadline. Because, you would have gotten a bunch of picks back. You probably could have moved him for a pretty penny to plenty of teams who were wide receiver needy. And A.J. Brown was a headache and a bit of a cancer the rest of the season in Philly. So I would imagine whoever's coming in, you're losing a guy who's a potential all-pro receiver, but the team is probably better off without him. So whoever it is waiting to see if A.J. Brown is no longer there. That makes sense.
I don't think people want the headache. And A.J. Brown, it would have made sense for them to trade him last season. I think Howie Roseman didn't want to deal with the media. He didn't want to deal with, because the Eagles at the time, even though they weren't playing great football, were trying to become back-to-back Super Bowl champs. So trading one of the guys that won you the Super Bowl the year before was not maybe going to go over super well in the media, and especially if you bowed out in the first round. Now they ended up doing that to your 49ers, so it doesn't look great now. But they were going to get bad press. I think this is why a lot of offensive coordinators are staying away. On paper, it's a great job. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith. But it's kind of a nightmare because the offense didn't work all last year. A.J. Brown complaining for touches. Devontae Smith has rumored about complaining for touches. And then is Saquon on the downturn? I think there's a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator job has been open and it hasn't been filled.
To me, the two biggest names this offseason on Trade Alert, Tua and A.J. Brown.
And Kyler, to a lesser extent, because we all expect he's gone. He didn't play the last. I guess Tua didn't either. So, yeah, those three names. Where'd our music go? See, what is happening?
What is happening with the computer?
The computer is driving me crazy today. Sorry. Patrick Reed. We're headed golf real quick. Patrick Reed returning to the PGA Tour from LIV later on this year. He will not be eligible to return until August 25th. He's a part of the player redemption program, player reaccumation program, whatever that is. And so anyway,
releasing them back into society.
Releasing them back into society. Patrick Reed, though, coming back to the PGA. This comes after Brooks Koepka a week ago announced he'll be back in the PGA Tour. What does this mean for golf, Fletch, and the PGA Tour that they're back?
Bring them all back. I hope this is starting a trend. I really do. Look, Patrick Reed is a damn good golfer. Patrick Reed is an ass. And so I think this is good for the PGA Tour in the sense that you are getting, people don't like Patrick Reed. You are getting some of the spice back, or as DQ would tell us, the swicey back to the PGA Tour to golf, which is a good thing. Patrick Reed is one of those guys who you're watching him because you hate him. At least that's why I watch him. He's had cheating scandals in the past, not off the course, but on the course. He's been brash with the media. Patrick Reed is kind of intolerable, but the fact that he's back and the fact that he's a damn good golfer, it's again another weapon to push Scotty Scheffler is what I feel like. And now you need to get Bryson back. You need to get Cam Smith back. You need to get John Rahm back and get everybody back into the PGA Tour. So week in and week out, we get to see the actual best golfers in the world playing against each other instead of being split up into two separate leagues.
Well, and in sports where it's solo athletes, tennis, boxing, UFC, golf, you need rivalries. Rivalries matter more than just about anything, because in team sports, rivalries are what really makes it. But because, the Dodgers and Padres hate each other, the fans hate each other, the teams hate each other, that's never going anywhere. But it has felt like with golf, with a lot of the best golfers siphoning off to live, you haven't had those same rivalries. You've had the rivalries, but they haven't been playing each other. We haven't got to see it.
No one's been pushing Scotty.
No one's been pushing Scotty. So getting Reed back, getting Koepka back, to your point, Cam Smith, all these guys, Bryson DeChambeau, need to come back, because then, heading into Sunday, that's what made the Masters so fun last year. You had on opening up Sunday, can Rory finally get his green jacket? And DeChambeau was his number one threat at the time. Now DeChambeau fell off halfway through the day, but these are the kind of things that make golf. Golf hasn't, like, the buzz of the Masters that weekend was unlike anything we've seen in years since Tiger. So I'm happy that all these guys are back, and I hope that even more come back to the PGA.
What all gets left off when we talk about golf is the fact that right before Live Golf was even a thing, right before it happened and they started throwing out all this money, was the best golf had been in like a decade since Tiger was at his peak, because you had all of these guys fighting against each other week in and week out, and it was drama. It was huge. And that's honestly why Live became a thing, because they saw this spike in popularity. They saw it going up and up and up, and they're like, we could probably build a competitor to this. And the way they did it was by siphoning off a bunch of talent, by paying them hundreds of millions of dollars, and then consecutively ruining golf and making sure ratings in both leagues just tanked. Now we're starting to get it back. Let's go. LFG, SD, Torrey Pines this weekend is going to be awesome. All right, we got to take a quick break here. Chris Stapleton tickets on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app, live here in San Diego. Excuse me. We got Chris Stapleton tickets coming up within the next 5 minutes, so don't go anywhere. Coach Quintera just after that. Chris Stapleton is playing at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater coming up on July 10th, I believe is the date on that. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. But Chris Stapleton tickets coming up in about 5 or 6 minutes, so don't go anywhere. All right, Giannis Antetokounmpo most likely on the move at this point. You've heard Sammy talk about it in the updates, but it seems like today is the first day that the Bucks have officially started listening to offers. People are going hard in the paint for it. Do we have a little Shams Charania who took over for the great Adrian Wojnarowski over at ESPN? We got some Shams. Let's hear from him.
We got 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
The ad on ESPN.
Get an ad blocker, Sammy. It's 2026. We all know this. But if Giannis is on the move, that's obviously a franchise-altering moment for whatever team lands him. Let's hear what Shams had to say.
What more can you add?
Guys, this has been the culmination of 9 months of conversations. You think about the back and forth that Giannis, his agent Alex Saratzis, and the Bucks have had since May at the draft combine when he's been exploring what his best fit is. Because like Stephen A just said, he has made it clear publicly, privately, he wants to compete for a second championship. And so he was able to recommit to this team. Bucks ownership, John Horst, Doc Rivers, they sold Giannis Antetokounmpo this season on winning at a high level, trying to compete for a championship in the Eastern Conference. That obviously right now hasn't happened. This is a Bucks team that is now 12th in the Eastern Conference. They're 9 games under 500. They've obviously nosedived over the last several weeks. And they're positioning for a lottery spot this second half of this NBA season. And so Giannis Antetokounmpo is looking around now, and he has made it clear to them in private conversations, as much as he loves Milwaukee, loves the organization, loves the franchise, he is ready to move to a new team potentially at the deadline or in the offseason. And the Bucks as well have had to reevaluate where they're at, what their direction is moving forward. And so I'm told there's already been several aggressive offers made to the Bucks. You have offers with former All-Star players, with multiple draft picks. That's all stuff that the Bucks are sifting through this week and next week. But over the next now we're 8 days away from the trade deadline. The Bucks have started listening to offers, engaging to an extent. They made it clear to teams what their threshold is as far as blue chip young talent and draft compensation. But this is 9 months in the making, several years in the making for Giannis Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee.
I'm curious if any of the top teams get in on this, like the Pistons or the Thunder. Both teams have all the draft assets and picks and young players that could make the deal happen. But the question is, would the league even want you trading to Oklahoma City? Because that would be, making it would be an ultimate dynasty. In Detroit, you're worried about the Eastern Conference. This is where the Knicks and Pistons come into play. It's like both the Knicks and Pistons and the Miami Heat, all these teams in the Eastern Conference are going to try to get him. But would Milwaukee take a worse package from a team in the West just to get him out of the Eastern Conference, or just go with the best package available? And maybe that is the Detroit Pistons.
Most likely he stays with the Bucks is what the betting market is telling you. Still, New York Knicks are up there. Miami Heat is up there. Could Miami make a move to bring in Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Well, Miami, again, because it's always been rumored that he wants to go to a big market. So everyone thinks LA and New York, which is fair. Miami, and if you're Giannis, the West is stacked. The Oklahoma City's not going anywhere. Houston, Denver, San Antonio, and the Lakers are all only going to get better. So if you're in the East, you're really looking at, Halliburton and Tatum will be coming back next year, but the Pistons are young. The Knicks are really good. They're young, but it's kind of a flawed roster. On Karl Anthony Towns has frankly been garbage this season. If so, like a team like Miami, Miami, if Giannis lands, they're not far off from getting to the championship. Now, I don't think Miami's in a position to go win a championship, but the Eastern Conference path is much easier than the Western Conference path.
Giannis is 31 years old. You would imagine the next place he goes may end up being the last place he goes. There's a big decision and I'm assuming Giannis has a lot of say on where he ends up.
Right, because if he tells the team, I'm not going to sign. Now, he's under control for a couple more seasons.
Right.
But if he's like, I'm leaving, I'm not going to be there, that will obviously limit the amount that teams want to give up for him.
Going to be fascinating. That's the thing you get in the NBA. You don't really get in any other sport. Baseball, I guess, recently you've had a little more of it with the movement of Juan Soto and some of the bigger stars. But basketball, it feels like once a year you get something like this, where maybe the best player in all of basketball is going to be on the move.
The NBA trade deadline is always the most entertaining of any of them because the most things happen.
Yeah, that's why everyone loves Woj so much. And now it's Shams. And we'll see if he can live up to the hype. This is a big year for Shams. Looking forward to it. All right, Chris Stapleton tickets on the line right now. 877-767-4760. Chris Stapleton, one of the biggest draws in music these days, is going to be out at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater here in San Diego. If you would like to go to the show in July, you need to be caller number
14
right now. Sammy's making you work for it. It's San Diego Sports 760. You can buy tickets at Ticketmaster.com. If you want to win them, you got to be caller number 14 right now. Coach Quintero next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by the Positive Coaching Alliance. Aztecs back on the Mesa tonight, taking on Colorado State after a big win against UNLV in Las Vegas over the weekend. Aztecs 8.5-point favorites in this one. Point total set at 138.5. Of course, you're going to hear it on San Diego Sports 760 at 7:30 with Schaefer on the call. Fletch and I get you pregame starting at 6:30, and the Lake Show back in action tonight after beating the Bulls the other night, taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight at 4:00 on ESPN. Lakers are 3.5-point dogs in that one. If you have questions about youth or high school sports, Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA develops better athletes and better people through youth and high school sports. Info at positivecoaching.org.
Come on now, San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2:00. John Schaefer's going to take over then. And we all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. You can nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day, Jessica Roberts, who teaches at Hearst Elementary School and who folks told us she is truly a special teacher because she goes far beyond what is asked of her. Congrats, Jessica. You're in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. The come on man at the beginning of this segment was because 619 is texting in saying golf is not a sport. Sammy, we got a 25 handicap in the chat.
Bro, golf is definitely a sport.
Definitely a sport. And Tiger Woods is definitely on the Mount Rushmore of greatest athletes of all time. And I don't know if I need to hear an argument any other way. Speaking of Mount Rushmores, we've been talking about this kind of all show long. Bill Belichick snubbed out of the Hall of Fame the first time he was on the ballot. And it just said something's not sitting right with that. Obviously, it's one of those conversations where you ask 99 people on the street, who is the first ballot Hall of Fame head coach in the history of the NFL? The answer is probably Bill Belichick. And the fact that it's not that way is kind of a travesty, in my opinion. Let's see what our next guest has to think about that. The legend, Coach Quintera, who in many eyes is a first ballot Hall of Famer of his own rights, is joining the show right now. Coach, what do you think about Bill Belichick getting snubbed?
Well, I'll tell you, last night when it came down, Fletch, I was actually pretty upset about it. I don't know why. I'm sitting at home watching some college basketball, and all of a sudden I got hot and bothered when I saw that. I mean, absolutely ludicrous. Made a mockery out of the voters that did vote for him. There's 50 voters. You got to get 40 votes, 80%. And obviously, he didn't get the 40 votes. So somewhere between 39 and 0. So we'll find out eventually. It'll slowly seep out. But, some of the comments from like Jimmy Johnson last night, some of the notable writers, John McClain, who I've had on my show for many years down in Houston, maybe as good as anybody covering the NFL, along with Clark Judge. And there are a lot of good guys that cover the NFL. But John McClain said this is absolutely ridiculous. It's uncalled for. And, then you throw in the Bill Polian story. I don't know what to believe from Bill Polian. I mean, his nose may be about 6 inches longer today than it was yesterday, but, he couldn't remember if he voted for Belichick or not. He said 95%. Then he came back and said 100. But there were also stories that he was in the room saying, we got to make this guy pay for, Spygate and Deflategate and all this. But it really made a mockery out of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Very, very disappointing. And that tells me that really, I guess, unless you do better than Bill Belichick, you're probably not going to get in the Hall of Fame on your first ballot if you're a coach. I don't know how they can put another coach in on the first ballot if they didn't put in maybe and arguably the greatest coach in NFL history. He certainly has the most Super Bowls.
Coach, before we get to the Padres, I'm curious, what are your thoughts? We didn't get this last week on the potential Super Bowl. So obviously Patriots and Seahawks. Were you leaning in this game? Who do you think's going to take it?
Well, unless Drake May and that offense can get it rolling, they're going to have to score 21, 24 points, I think, to have a shot to win. I think both teams have very good defenses. I think Seattle's a little bit more of a dominating defense, and I just think Seattle's got too much offensively. I mean, the way Kenneth Walker ran the other day was absolutely insane. And Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, I think, is one of the top 3 or 4 receivers in the National Football League, and they protect Darnold real well. They got good special teams. In fact, both teams have very good special teams. I think Seattle wins, and I think they got a chance to do some real damage and win by double figures.
Coach Quintera joining us today here on San Diego Sports 760. Coach, before we get to the Padres that are going to be on the field in 2026, let's talk about what went down this last Saturday. How was the event commemorating, celebrating the life of Randy Jones? You got to be down at the field at Petco Park. How'd that go?
Well, really well. First of all, the Padres, give them a big hug and a kiss. They did a marvelous job. Nothing could have gone any better. I think Marie Jones and Stacy and Jamie, Randy's daughters, I think the entire Jones family was really, really excited about the way it came off. And I thought all the speakers were fantastic. I thought Jesse Agler, who was the MC, did a really nice job. And, everybody that spoke, including myself, I think we all did a very nice job and sent our friend Randy Jones off in fine fashion. The one thing, Fletch, you and Sammy didn't know, I had a procedure last Friday, and I could walk a little bit, but I can't walk a lot right now. And the Padres actually had a wheelchair for me at the front gate. They wheeled me out. My wife was with me, wheeled me out, and put me in my seat, and I hobbled up there to speak. Everybody said I walked pretty well. I didn't feel like I felt like I was about 90 years old, but they carted me around all day in a wheelchair, and I thank them for that. But it couldn't have gone better. I think the fans that came out, I think they enjoyed the tribute to Randy, and so good job done by all.
Oh, that's the best, Coach. Speaking about the Padres, Yu Darvish, kind of an odd situation, potentially voiding his contract, giving the $43 million back, then kind of walked it back after the Kevin Acee article. We'll see where it goes. If, let's just say that he does void the contract, Padres have a little walking around money, what would you like to see the Padres go do with it?
Well, I'd like to see them go out and get more pitching now. I'm not sure Darvish walked that back. I mean, I don't know where Kevin got his information, but for Darvish to have to come out and kind of put everything in order after that, we've been talking about Darvish for a long time. When he had that surgery at the end of October, the game plan was pretty much what Yu Darvish said the other day when he put that tweet out. Is I am going to rehab. I'm going to see whether or not I can pitch or not, and I may retire if I don't think I can pitch. Now, the way I could see it, Sammy, and the way, again, I think this is really in Yu Darvish's ballpark. I mean, he's got 3 years left. And, is he going to rehab for 3 years? No, because he's an honorable guy, and he probably wants to go watch his kids play high school and college baseball at some point. But he's an honorable man, hard-working, dedicated guy. Great to have him around the ballpark, working with some of the young pitchers. We know how much he played a part in helping Randy Vasquez last year, and I'm sure there are other guys that were involved with Darvish, and just little things that he can pass on. The way I see it, Padres probably have insurance on all their high dollar guys, and I would imagine Darvish, there's an insurance policy on him, so the Padres won't be all out all that money this year. But the way I would play it, let Darvish do what he's going to do. Let him do it on his terms. Let him work out. He can work out at the ballpark. He can work out with the training staff. He's got all the things you need right there. And then at the end of the year, or whenever he's able to throw, remember, this is a 12 to 15 month procedure he had. So there's no way he's going to pitch at all this year, even at the end of the year, or if they got to postseason. So let him go through this year, and I think we revisit this next year, maybe about this time, to whether or not he continues or he retires. Now, the other thing Darvish has talked about, I think, this is the type of guy he is. He may say, you know what, we're going to void those final 2 years of the contract in 27 and 28. And if I'm able to pitch, then we'll work out a deal either with the Padres or whoever would want to sign him at that point in time. I could see you doing that without announcing his retirement.
Coach Quintera joining us today on San Diego Sports 760. Coach, sticking with the pitching staff, Joe Musgrove, what do you think realistic expectations are for Java Joe heading into this year?
Fletch, hard to say. I know Joe was at the Miracle League on Sunday, and I was supposed to be there. It just was going to be too much. with Saturday, and I didn't really want to get wheeled up a hill in a wheelchair, but Joe was there, and I know he talked to the media a little bit, and kind of what we've been talking about. I think you got to protect Joe from Joe, because he's going to want to be out there. He's going to be out there. It's full go right now. I know he took a little time off after going through all that rehab, but he's back throwing. He'll be ready to roll, but they're going to limit him in spring training, and I think they're going to limit him throughout the course of the year. They may even, skip him in the rotation every once in a while if they feel they need to do that. And Joe's comment the other day was, hey, I want to be ready to go in October. So I like the attitude. And again, he'll probably be on a pitch count early, probably be on an innings restriction to a certain degree. That kind of all goes together with pitch counts and innings. But they'll probably, I would think, slow play him a little bit. They're not going to rush him out there even in spring training. But don't expect him to go real deep in games early in the year until he builds that arm strength back up.
Coach, Robert Suarez obviously departing from the bullpen, the offseason. Bullpen was such a strength of the team last year. Is there a name that we're not talking about enough right now that you think halfway through the season is going to become a big bullpen piece for the Padres?
Well, a couple of things, Sammy. I think that's a good call. I think there's plenty of arms down there that can get the job done. The growth of Adrian Morejon a year ago, and I was so impressed with him. And I've been waiting. And I know there was talk about, moving him into the starting rotation. And I think he'd have been one of those guys that maybe I would have looked at. You could stretch him out a little bit. But you know what? He did such a good job. And without Robert, you got Mason Miller, who knows, can go. The great thing about Miller, he can actually go, 4 outs or multiple innings if you need it. But you want him to be your closer. You got Adrian. David Morgan, can he come back and do the job that he did a year ago? I really was impressed with him. And you got, some other arms down there, a guy, like Jeremiah Estrada. I mean, Estrada, when you look at the end of the year, his numbers were okay, but he also gave up a lot of home runs last year. He's got to get that split finger fastball down in the zone a little bit more, a little bit up in the air. They crank it out of the ballpark, but there are plenty of arms. The Padres, their bullpen should not even be remotely an issue. As long as everybody stays healthy, and even if they lose a guy here or there to the IL, they got plenty of arms in this organization. And the other guy that I want to see in spring training is Bradley Rodriguez. We only saw him briefly a year ago, and, he's just getting his feet wet in the big league. So get him a little experience in spring training and get him into some early season ball games, see if he can help the ball club.
Just a couple weeks out from spring training getting going. I think pitchers and catchers reporting on February 11th. We're almost there. Coach, always great chatting with you. Before you go, any thoughts on this Aztecs basketball team? They're playing some pretty good ball.
Yeah, they're playing good ball. I don't know what the status of Magoon is for tonight. I probably imagine he's out. But, I watched Colorado State last, I think it was Friday night they played. They played Utah State at Moby Arena, packed Moby Arena in Fort Collins, and they gave Utah State a heck of a ball game, and they led most of that game. And then Utah State came back at the end, and I can't remember, they won by 5 or 6 or 7 points. But don't look past Colorado State tonight, even though it's at Viejas Arena, because on Saturday, I'm concerned. Aztecs will beat Utah State. They should beat Utah State. They're a better basketball team. They're deeper. My only concern, kind of a weird start time on CBS, 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. How about that?
Prime time,
if
baby.
I was at home, I'd be okay with that. But being on the road, that's a little bit more difficult. So don't look by the Rams tonight, and then get them, and then go get the Aggies on Saturday morning.
What's crazy is the 10 o'clock morning college basketball game on Saturdays during January and February is literally the reason I'm sitting right here. That is where my love for sports grew, was watching Saturday morning college basketball. Some of my favorite memories. All right, Coach, thank you for your time today. Appreciate the heck out of you. You know that. Congratulations and awesome job on what you did for Randy Jones the other day. I wish I was there. I was working the Aztecs game, but we can't wait to see you soon. And thank you for your time.
Hey, good job, boys. And also enjoy keeping your eye on that golf tournament. Pro-Am today. Final Farmers Insurance Open title-wise tomorrow. So it should be a good weekend in San Diego.
Can't wait for it. Coach Quintera, everybody, the legend John Quintera joining us here. Always appreciate his time. All right, quick break here. Not before we give away some San Diego Seals tickets. They're playing at Pechanga Arena coming up a little bit later on next month. So if you want those tickets, 877-767-4760. You can call right now. Caller number 7, we're going to give those tickets to. Call now. San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Seals lacrosse tickets for you if you call 877-767-4760. San Diego Sports 760 for a final time today. Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer is going to take over next. Big shout outs to Aiden, to Nick, and to Indy Drew, who all won tickets on the show today. We'll have some more giveaways for you tomorrow.
Shout out to the boys,
including some Chris Stapleton tickets. Thank you to everybody who jumped in on YouTube today, the text line as well. Sammy, you want to rip through your picks for the updated long shots? We changed it up. We went game lines.
We went game lines and totals. I got the over on Lakers Cavs tonight, more than 235.5 points. I don't see a lot of defense being played. Chicago in Indiana. Take Chicago on the spread. Bulls going to cover 2.5. A lot of young talent on that roster. Pacers doing a tank job. And then I got San Antonio on the spread in Houston tonight. Get them at +2.5, +3.5, wherever you're playing. Prize Picks, Kalshi, whatever they offer. I think San Antonio wins this game outright tonight with no Steven Adams clogging up Wemby in the paint.
Love it. Nice work, Sammy. John Schaefer is next. I'll be back with you tonight for Aztecs pregame starting at 6:30 from courtside at Viejas Arena tonight. And John Schaefer, of course, will be on the call. San Diego State, Colorado State, 7:30 tonight at Viejas Arena. Get tickets now at goaztecs.com. We will see you tomorrow. I bid you adieu. Bye, Sammy.